Moikka, moi! Welcome to the Podcast Papo de Professor. This podcast has as objective the dissemination of new ideas, theories, and best practices in education. I am teacher Damian, and today we are starting a special series in Finland House in Rio. Yes! As you know, in the last episode, we had a short interview with Mr. Harry Holo and Maria from Hank, telling about this event. So we are receiving here Mr. Yuni Kangasniemi. I met here. He started to talk to me histories. So I said, stop. We need to record that because it's too much interesting to keep it just with me. So I'd like to thank you to kindly accept this invite for this last minute invite to make this recording with us. So hello or moi moi or moikka.
Moi.
I'm trying to improve my vocabulary in Finnish.
Yes. And you know what's the difference between moi and moi moi?
No, please tell us.
Okay, moi is when you meet somebody and when you are leaving the person you can say moi moi.
Moi moi. So it's strange for us because it's the same word. In Italian, they used to say ciao.
Ciao, yes.
Yes, ciao. In Brazil, we have different words to say hello and goodbye.
Yeah.
And so Finnish used to say moi just once and to say
when
goodbye.
When you greet for the first time and say hello.
Hello.
And it's more like we use it for slang. So it's not a proper way. I mean, if I would say hello, I would say in proper way, I would say hyvää päivää. But if I'm a young person, I would say moi.
Moi. Great to know. So thank you for sharing.
It's less formal way of saying
hello. Moi.
Yeah.
So moi.
And if I say goodbye, then it would be moi moi.
Moi moi. Okay, great to know. So, Yuni, could you tell us a little bit about you?
Yeah. Well, I have a long history of working with the government. Actually, I just calculated that last year I've been working with the government 25 years.
Wow, it's a long time.
And people always ask that, what do you do? And I always say that I help politicians to make good policies.
Great.
And then it becomes very abstractic. And I said, actually not. Because good policies are very clear. And if they are clear, they are well understood, and they are like guiding poles for the people. And we just started our discussion about like one of the policies that we currently have, and that's like making language learning start from the first grade on. And that's a policy line.
Yes, I realized when I was in Finland that the quite young kids is able to communicate in English. So it's super to me because I remember when I was visiting a school and a little kid started to talk to me. She had about 7 years old or a little more, I don't know, 8 or 9. But she had communicate with me quite fluent in English. So how it works? What is the magic?
Yeah, it's actually not a magic.
Just for whom don't know, but the official language in Finland is not English. Is why I am surprised.
Yeah.
Because we use it to receive some Finn people here always speaking English, but the official language is Finnish, Swedish, yes. And in Sami, right? Sami is not English. So is why. So.
And we found out that if you start studying languages rather late, then you need to be taught a lot. But the younger you start, it becomes like learning. So it's no more of teaching languages, but learning languages. I always say that Finnish language, it's very strange, and everybody always asking, it must be one of the most difficult languages in the world. And I always say that no, even the babies in Finland learn how to speak Finnish.
Okay.
But coming back to the point, I mean, the current government made a decision that you start learning languages from the first grade on. And as I was telling, there's not that long a jump from policies to practice, because I'm using my son as a test laboratory, because he's now going to the second grade in basic education. He's 8 years old. The city that I live in is next to Helsinki, the capital, and they made a decision that all the first graders start learning some English language from the first grade on.
But not just English. They have another subject in Finnish as well?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
They get introduction to English language.
Okay.
But in my son's case, there was one class that you could just apply that they would teach almost all of the subjects in English from the first grade on. And we thought that that's a very neat idea. And actually the school is it's nearby our house, but yet they have like 40% of the kids in that school. I mean, one or two parents are immigrants in Finland. So in many countries that would mean a bit difficult school to be going to, because so many different cultures are meeting in the school.
Yeah, I suppose it's too hard to do.
Yeah. But I mean, that's quite normal, and now they have this one class in the school, and kids start learning English from the first grade on. And I say they start learning because the teacher, from the beginning, the teaching goes a little bit slower. She explains everything in English and then in Finnish. So she speaks both Finnish and English. And then every week the kids get list of words, some 6-7 words that they need to learn that week. Okay. And then on Friday they have a spelling test.
Okay.
And if you can imagine how many words you can learn in one school year.
Wow.
When you make the tests and the teacher is speaking foreign language, English in this case.
The most important point is to internationalize the education is that the people knows how to speak a foreign language. In a world context, I think so. I guess that the English is one of the most of them. Has French or Spanish or Mandarin. And one of the challenges for the Brazil is to teach English for our kids. Actually, it's not to teach, but is to learn how to learn. And it's a quite important way. So you told me you are sometime traveling around the world. Which country has about the same point or the same level education level than Brazil? You can compare the education system or the evolution of education system with another country. Same challenges, actually.
Yeah, very difficult question, because every education system is a bit different, yet they are experiencing the same phases. Even when I'm talking here, I'm telling the story of the Finnish school. It's easy to recognize very similar phases. We had very severe economic downturns, and then we changed the education policies quite drastically. We've had shortages of things. We've had booms, and that's what's happening in most countries and also in Brazil. There are quite many countries that are very, in a way, in a similar situation. From my point of view, I could just name like Chile.
Okay.
Even the
Our neighbor.
Yes, even the United States, from my point of view, struggles with many of the issues that you are struggling also in Brazil.
Yeah.
In Central Asia, some countries are in the same situation. Some Eastern European countries. You're in good company, and you're not
You're not alone.
You don't have any specific very specific problems, but you're in a family of or a group of lands that all face the same
we can
questions.
Help each other, so
Yes.
we can put together.
Oh yeah.
One last question about you. I would like to know about your concern. The Finland is the highlight topic in the world about education. What the Finland win exporting their education?
We are...
Instead the money, of course.
Yeah, I know. I would say in short that exporting education means win-win. So in many countries it's just one way of winning. But our strategy is that we negotiate, and we are very glad if both of us learn from each other. And if money is exchanged, that's part of the business. But I would say that everybody thinks that Finland has developed their own education pedagogies and practices. But I would say that if you look very closely Finnish practices, you always find people who have been traveling abroad and borrowing the best ideas and then fitted them to fit in Finland.
Great.
So that's how it has been evolving the past 150 years. All big shifts in education have been after a lot of exchange of information between other countries and then adjusting that Finnish schools. I mean that always surprised everybody. But we are borrowing the ideas and we take the best parts and we then take the best parts of our existing system, and that's how it's evolving. The worst thing that can happen is that if you stop developing your education system.
I'm sure. I love it to hear that is about it. We learn it as well. We learn it too. So I think is the point.
Yeah.
Yes, to keep learning, to keep improving, to keep developing, to keep in the highlight. Why not? It's a great thing.
I have one point.
Okay.
I was looking for when did the most innovative things happen in Finnish education, and I can only tell that it was a surprise that when we had a economic downturn, very soon after that, most innovation happened in Finland. So following every recession, our education system have jumped forward. Because when you don't have enough money, then the innovation comes in picture. And then that's the best thing that can happen. If you have too much money, then there's no need to change. But if you are a little bit lack of money, that's when the creative comes into picture, and that's when the miracles start happening.
Well, it's great to know that, because it's what are happening right now nowadays in Brazil. We are facing a lot of difficulties. So during these difficult times, new opportunities appears.
Exactly.
So
and then you open your mind and you are more open for innovative ideas, because you see that that's the only way to go. And that has happened in Finland, and I'm sure that can happen also in Brazil. I'm 100% sure.
Let me ask you, how long you have been working with Brazil?
In Brazil?
Yes.
This is the first trip.
Actually, with Brazil?
With Brazil, 1 year.
1 year. What your country could learn with Brazil? What the Brazilians could learn for you? You have some specific point. Could be quite simple, it's not a problem.
Yeah, well, very good questions. What we can learn from Brazil? The people's attitudes. You are always smiling and very friendly, and I love the people. Also, I mean, the curiosity part. I mean, Finland, small country from the north of Europe, nobody had even heard of, and you are still, I mean, willing to learn what they could teach to us, and that's something. And what I can bring to you is exchange ideas to help people to network with each other and then learn from each other, and that's the best thing that can happen.
Great. So I would like to thank you again, Yuni. It was an amazing chat. I'm sure that you listener would like to have more. We couldn't have a long chat because in some minutes further you have an important speech here in the Finland house. So I'd like to thank you for your to be available for this last minute invite.
Obrigado.
Kiitos. Thank you. Moi moi.
Moi moi.